Sports games suck, but they didn't used to always suck. The main sports franchises have been taken over by these huge AAA companies. Every single year they seem to release the same exact Madden, the same 2K, or even the same baseball. I think we need to start throwing these companies in jail because they're damn near committing theft. I mean, they sell these games for $70 every single year, and then when you buy them, you're heavily incentivized to buy in-game currency, whether it's used to level up your character or your in-game team or buy packs. I mean, it's been years now, and it feels like these yearly sports games have monopolized the sports games industry as a whole. So I sat down and I asked myself, has it always been this way? When I suddenly got a flashback of a better time. A time where games were willing to take a risk and make sports games that weren't just copy and paste of one another. Back when sports games were unique and had personality. Back when sports games didn't suck. Back in the day before EA was a completely evil corporate entity of a game studio that released unfinished microtransaction slop every single year, believe it or not, they were only kind of evil. And they released actual quality games sometimes. In 2004, they surprised the world and released one of the greatest sports video games of all time, NFL Street Football 2 for the PS2 and GameCube. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I'm not even a huge football fan, which is why it's weird for me to admit that not only is this my favorite sports game ever, this is one of my favorite games of all time in general. You could do the Own the City game mode and make your very own player, which was actually a fresh and interesting story mode, where you'd have to go and beat other teams in games, pick up matches and mini games, and you'd be able to recruit players from the teams that you beat onto your own team and then eventually, well, own the city. This is exactly what I mean when I say sports games used to take risks and make unique games. Because this game had so much charm and personality that it was hard to not like it even if you weren't a sports fan in general. It's fun for beginners to play, but also has a surprisingly high skill ceiling. I mean, you could literally jump off walls, make diving plays, and celebrate to build up your meter to use your game breaker. Oh yeah, they had game breakers, which break the game. I don't know how else to explain it. It's like a power bar that fills up whenever you do cool stuff, and then when it's full, you can use an ultimate ability that supercharges your players and makes them basically unstoppable.
Man, they're not that good. You're not that good.
And then eventually when it gets high enough, you can get a game breaker too, which basically just gives you a free touchdown anytime you use it. It's kind of broken. It's so broken that anyone that I ever played against, I'd always make a rule that no game breaker 2s were allowed because it's not fun if you can just have a free touchdown. Other than that, man, I'm so nostalgic over this game. My cousins and I used to have full-blown tournaments that would get insanely competitive on this game. And needless to say, I dominated it. And I'm just gonna let you guys know that I'd completely dominate anyone in the entire world at this game. I'm not even kidding. Anyway, I need to move on to the next game before this just becomes an hour-long yap session about NFL Street Football 2. I love this game so much.
Now what?
If you grew up in the early 2000s like myself, there's just no way you didn't play at least one of the backyard sports games, but the specific ones that I want to talk about are the 2009 versions because they're just the best. Argue with the wall, buddy. The 2009 versions of backyard sports games were incredible besides the fact that they start with a jump scare every time and had an entire music video for some reason. I don't really know.
Hey football fans, I'm Tom Brady. Welcome to Backyard Football.
Come on, let's get together.
Mind you, I turned the volume down like 15 decibels. That's the loudest music video for an intro I've ever seen. Now, don't get me wrong, these games weren't perfect by any metric in terms of gameplay, and they feel pretty slow and clunky at times, but they're just kind of funny and entertaining to play. I can't really explain it. From the characters doing these stupid little celebrations, to the second baseman getting absolutely zapped by whatever this was. What the hell just happened? There's no way I can explain this besides it's just nostalgia, and then I go back and play it now and it's actually still fun, so I don't really know why. Even though it might not look like it on the video, it's an absolutely incredible time. You just had to be there.
Oh, that's hot. That's hot.
Have you ever wanted to jump 9,000 feet in the air and dunk a basketball? No? Well, when I was a little kid, I wanted to after playing NBA Jam. Going over to a friend's house and running this game was endless fun, especially if you got to play as the Lakers because they're far and beyond the best team on this entire game. I mean, you have Shaq and Kobe, which are like the two best players in the game almost, so how do you play defense on this game? You don't. It's literally just take the ball to the other side of the court and do the coolest alley-oop, dunk, or fadeaway three-pointer with Kobe Bryant that you can think of. Really, the only way to stop someone from scoring is to just get lucky enough to punch their other player in the face as hard as you can so that the ball goes flying. That being said, this game is like endless fun for some reason, and the footage you're seeing is from the PS2 version of NBA Jam. But I gotta say my favorite version was the Xbox 360 or the On Fire edition, whatever they called it. But I think the Xbox 360 version is the best because the players looked weird and uncanny and had like actual pictures of the real life players' faces pasted on them. I don't know why they decided to do this, but I'm actually super glad they did because it's funny as hell. And it's literally the perfect game design for like a game that's this chaotic and goofy. Anyway, the game is dumb fun and I forgot like how hard it was. I was kind of getting my ass kicked by the computer here, but don't mind that, okay? I'm convinced that the only people who didn't play this game from 2006 to 2010 were in like a coma or like living under a rock or something at the time. Because I'm just guessing, but there's just no way that this isn't the most popular sports game of all time. First of all, this was one disc that came with 5 different games, which is just absolutely incredible. And I'm pretty sure this came with most Wiis. And every single one of those 5 games, in my opinion, held their own in some way or another. I mean, the tennis game was surprisingly fun and it had a wide range of mechanics for a tennis game. And I'll tell you what, my backhand was absolutely nasty back in the day. The baseball game was really fun and satisfying, especially when you hit a home run against your sibling. And the golf had like the best mini games of any game on this list. And then the boxing one really just showed off what you could do with nunchucks on the Wii with the, you know, the attachable nunchucks where you had to hold the controller in one hand and then the nunchuck in the other hand. And you would just be swinging your fists around like crazy until you accidentally launch a freaking Wii controller into the TV or something.
And we're like, oh, jeez. And there goes the tennis racket.
But the one game that I really loved on it, and I think it's everyone's favorite, it was the bowling, of course. I mean, what an amazing time in the world it was, because every single event or family gathering that you'd go to, someone would have a Wii there, and it would be attached to the main TV in the living room, and there would be like 20 people gathered around watching the 4 people playing Wii bowling. And I'd actually venture to guess that no console or game ever in existence has brought families and friends closer than Wii bowling did. I mean, it was truly something special. You just had to be there, man. And I loved these games and they went surprisingly deep. You could just like grind these things single player and get pro-am rank in them, whatever that means, which was actually insanely fun. Overall, this might be the most fun your average person could have on a sports game or any game in general, if I had to guess.
Okay, hold up. I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out. I'm gonna pass out. I f***ing did it!
Did you expect me to ever talk about a snowboarding video game? SSX Tricky for the PS2. I have core memories of running around outside playing with the kids in my neighborhood growing up. And you know, sometimes we'd run through the house to grab a snack or something, and this game would just be left on in the living room, ready to be played whenever we just wanted to take a break from running around like psychopaths. That being said, I never really did get that good at this game. But one thing about games like this is that when you're young and you're playing a game like this and you land a few tricks, it makes you feel like some sort of unstoppable god or something. I mean, for a 2001 game, this game had a lot of cool features, like a ton of tricks, races, time trials, you know, basically all the same shit you'd see in some sort of racing or sporty game like this in the early 2000s. I really did like that you have to win races in order to unlock most of these characters, and mind you, the character designs are like ahead of their time in terms of how wacky and silly they are. Like, I don't know who came up with these character designs, but every single one of them, it has like a big personality and they are actually amazing. There's so many of them too.
You and me, we're gonna rule this race.
Also, this game had like a cool remixed version of Run DMC's Tricky song. And obviously I can't play it for you because, you know, copyright. I think it's kind of crazy how a lot of these older games have like copyrighted music just in them. Well, you know, obviously they were licensed to the game, but you know what I mean? They just had copyrighted music. So like, because nobody was streaming back in the day or making YouTube videos, so it didn't really matter. Anyway, I'm getting off track. For being really rusty and kind of bad at this game, I did get first place in my first race, so... Oh, bars, by the way. It's tricky! Tony Hawk's Underground 2 will always be my favorite skateboarding game, and it's not even close. I feel like everyone ever has always underrated this game, and I just feel like it's perfect. This game is utter chaos, and it's like a whole episode of Jackass packed into a skating game. Basically, you're an up-and-coming skater and Tony Hawk and Bam Margera literally kidnap you to do some sort of competition, and you get drafted by Team Tony Hawk after some guy literally pees himself. After that, you go on a literal world tour competing against Team BAM to do the coolest stunts and missions in different cities. You go to places like Barcelona and Australia and do insane side quests the entire time. And on top of that, the entire time you get to learn some sick ass tricks. The skating in this game feels so fun and smooth, and the trick combinations just make sense to me. And I feel like my main criticism of skating games is that they always try to do too much mechanically in terms of like how you perform the tricks using your controller. But for some reason, this game just gets it perfect for me and just scratches my brain in the perfect way. But yeah, dude, it's just awesome. Also, you can find Ben Franklin in this game, and he shows you how to perform the trick, the Franklin, which is just, it's pure cinema, it's peak. Something must have been in the air in the 2000s because so many incredible sports games were coming out, and Punch-Out for the Nintendo Wii was absolutely incredible. To me, this game feels like the prime example of why the Wii even came with the nunchucks in general, because they feel like they were designed specifically for games like this. And I know older Punch-Outs were insanely popular back in the day, but the fact that you could use motion controls to throw punches, move around, and dodge attacks made the game feel so much more immersive, like you were actually the one fighting the psychopathic enemies that this game had to offer. And I remember how much fun I had making my way all the way through this game and having to learn the enemies' weaknesses and dodge their attacks. Man, I had such a great time on this game. And just like many games around this time, this game was just filled to the brim with personality and character, and it really makes me miss when most games had this sort of charm to them in the 2000s. But Little Mac and Doc Lewis are such lovable characters, and you know it's always nice to play as the underdog who ends up absolutely dominating everyone. Anyway, I know this idea's been done before about sports games that don't suck, but shout out to these videos for the idea and the inspiration to make this video for myself, because you know, growing up I loved these sports games and I just love yapping about games in general. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for watching, and also thank you to my favorite comment from last video. Hopefully you guys found this somewhat entertaining, and I appreciate you. Bye bye.